Don't miss it.
You can't hear, you have to turn it up so you can hear it here.
Yeah.
It needs to start now. It needs to start now.
Welcome, listeners. Welcome to another series, Roots of the Matter. My name is J.R. Small. I want to thank you for having joined us tonight right here on Roots 96.1 FM. We know you have choices, a lot of choices, and so we are really happy and grateful that you chose Roots 96.1 to be tonight. As usual, we start by just recapping on our program last week, and I just want to thank Dr. Orville Nemad, as well as Mr. John Smith and Noel Codlin, who joined us to speak about cancers that they were suffering from. And of course, Dr. Nemad shared with us what we can do to ensure that we prevent that thing called cancer from affecting us the way it can. And so we thank them for having joined us last week. Now, this week, we are moving on to something a little different. This week, we have in studio some heavyweights, two heavyweights in the transportation sector. And we will be speaking about one of Jamaica's burning issues over the last week. It has been in our news. It has been all over social media. People have been looking at videos. There have been a lot of talk about events over the past week. And this week, our topic is road safety, taxi operators and motorists' responsibility. And that just about says all of us who drive, in essence, what it says. But we're going to be zoning in tonight on taxis as a primary source of conversation. As we know, here in Jamaica, almost every day we hear about motor vehicle accidents. In fact, I was looking at some statistics before coming on air, and it said that up to 2014, we were averaging somewhere in the region of 341 motor vehicle deaths, road deaths per year. Now, that is staggering if you really look at a small country like Jamaica. To help us to discuss this topic tonight, we are really honored, and I say honored and I mean honored to have to my right, if you're watching us on Facebook, if you're not, in studio with me is Mr. Edgerton Newman. And Mr. Newman is no stranger, of course, to public media. Mr. Newman is, in fact, the president of the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services. Do you call that TODS?
TODS, right.
TODS, all right, I got that one right. TODS for short. So let's get used to it. Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, TODS. And we'll be hearing about that shortly. And we also want to welcome Mr. Louis Barton. I'm sure you have heard that name as well. Mr. Barton is no stranger as well. Mr. Barton, welcome. He is the president of the Jamaica Association of Transport Owners and Operators. And we're going to be hearing about that as well. Now, before we start our discussion, we are going to just remind you that we have a number you can participate in our conversation a little later on. And that number is 372-8446. That's 372-8446. And of course, that's preceded by 876 as usual. Oh, and we have a bonus tonight. I don't know if Latoya is out there, but anybody on Walton Park Road, see if you see Latoya and tell her that JR say, I have some credit tonight, Latoya. Would you believe it? Some digital credit. I'm giving away some credit for callers, and I'm not ready to take calls yet. I can bet Latoya start calling me already. I'm giving away $100 credit to everybody who calls tonight and is so desirous of getting a digital credit. So we're going to jump right into our conversation. But before we do that, let me start with Mr. Barton on my left here, first of all, just to tell us about your association.
Okay. We have JATU, which is the Jamaica Association of Transport Owners and Operators.
Yes.
What we are doing, right now we are concentrated on taxis in the KMTR, in the Kingston area, Kingston, St. Catherine,
Yes.
Portmore, we have St. Thomas. But we also represent some bus operators. We represent individual owners and operators. That is, we have drivers who are members, we have owners who are members, and sometimes there was a time and we still encourage what they call the backup men.
Yes.
To be part of
You call it loader man. Yeah. I call them a loader man.
Right.
Yes.
To be part of. But you see, we wanted to change the image of this loader man and
Yes.
backup man. So we call them Parker system.
Okay. But that's what it is.
It was a step up,
Yes.
and there was a deliberate attempt to
Yes.
clean up the system. That's why we have it.
You say you represent those category of persons.
All those people. We try to bring them into a system so that we can organize for the development
Yes.
of the transport sector and the individuals in the transport sector. So we try to bring everybody into the system, have them play a specific role,
Yes.
define that role, and we move on. Right?
That's an ambitious project, though.
Yeah, but
Considering the spread of it, and you said KMTR, and I understand. That's very ambitious.
it's ambitious, but we also do Montego Bay. I mean, we go all over. We have
Right.
representatives in different areas. Probably we don't have. I don't think we have anybody in Hanover. But probably that's the only place that Jatu don't have a representative.
Yes.
Not that we are properly organized in different areas, but we try to touch everybody because it's really for the development of the sector.
Yes.
Right? And but the key role is to represent operators,
Right.
whoever you are, and we represent them to the government, to wherever they need representation.
Right.
That's the bottom line. For
Before
us,
I
representation.
go to Mr. Newman, let me just ask you quickly. You mentioned you don't have a representative in Hanover.
Mhm.
When last have you been that side and seen the bike taxis?
Last time I've been to the west to Savlamar. Was earlier this year, probably about February.
Did you see the bike taxis in?
I'm here,
You heard about it?
I heard about it, and we were trying to get in to represent those bike taxis. We don't know how they're organized, but wherever you see people doing something,
Yes.
there's an economy behind it, and you want to go in and organize it to the benefit of those who take in the taxi and those who supply the taxi service.
I'm glad you said that because I look at it as something that really needs regulation because there are a couple of factors. You're right, the economic factor is one, but there's also the safety factor. We look at the whole matter of insurance and protective
exactly,
gear.
yeah.
And we'll make
That's what we're trying to do, organize that to make sure that everybody is protected.
Okay, fine. Now, Mr. Newman, your TODS. Tell us what's the role of TODS in the transport sector?
Okay, the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services is not far away from JATU in
Yes.
terms of our program, but we focus on research, development, logistics, promotion, and representation. That's our broad focus. Those are areas that stand out for us. So we research what is happening in the sector.
Yes.
We provide the education to the people.
Yes.
Right? We, of course, represent both taxi and bus operators, but more so we work with the other association, like JATU. We work hand in hand in a number of areas, like a number of taxi association, route taxi
Right.
association. But the fact is, our focus is on looking at the issues that affect the public transport sector and bring them to light. So far, since the start of the year, we have had 52 activities
You're right.
focusing on public transportation right across Jamaica.
Does these activities include education?
Education, religious, social, and educational activities. We, as I said to you, we are coming from, what was I coming from? A round table talk on public transportation. We brought in researchers from the University of the West Indies.
Yes.
The ministers headed by Reverend Al Miller.
Yes.
You know, a number of projects brought together to look at the sector and how we can address the issues affecting the sector. So we are very broad. We
Yes.
have several, while we have a core membership, we see ourselves as Union for Public Transport Operators.
Right.
So Mr. Bart might not be a part of my association, but I also, when I speak for Mr. Barton's association.
I was just about to ask you because it sounds like there could be some overlap. Mr. Van, would you say there's an overlap?
There's a significant amount of overlap. But one thing that we have, he and we are coming from not only JATU and TODS.
Yes.
We were part of the formation of the first national association in Jamaica, which was NATO.
Right.
National.
I remember NATO.
That was when they had our umbrella group.
Right.
Where everybody in Jamaica, all taxi operators was
NATO.
part of it.
Right.
That broke down.
Right.
That guy in Montego Bay didn't like Louis Barton, that guy in Christian didn't like Elton Newman.
Yes.
So it broke down because of his personality breaking down.
Right.
Even I have some people who don't want anybody else in our organization.
Right.
But I believe that we if you continue to struggle, continue to do the work, then everybody will fall in over time. That is where we are. So we understand here, Mr. Newman have thoughts, I am part of JATU, and we work together on certain issues.
Do we have all taxis registered in some sort of organization, Mr. Newman? Or is it that you don't, it's not a mandatory sort of?
We have, let's say, 80% of taxes. It's a compulsory, but they be a part of a local association. So within Jamaica, you'll have at least 34 route taxi associations, right? The membership is wide. Because what you must understand is that we have close to 40,000 public transportation
License.
Wow.
license
Yeah.
in Jamaica.
Wow.
And so you have to have groupings that that manage them.
Right, and do representation.
And represent on their behalf.
Right.
But I can tell you, without any shadow of a doubt, that we represents them. There are some groupings that does not do anything but shuffle some papers around. You know, so the sector looked to us for representation in that area. So our work is cut out for us today.
Definitely.
People all the way from Montego coming to the meeting.
Right.
Because they want the information
Sure.
straight back
Back to
to
Montego
Montego
Bay.
Bay. So it's a tough job, and what is happening today in the sector, let me tell you something. As I said, today at UTEC, it's like a time bomb.
It
ready
is.
to be exploded.
It is.
And if it's not adjusted, we're gonna be in
Now, gentlemen, I want to go where the rubber hits the road. I didn't tell you before we started, by the way. This is the shortest hour on radio. Right? So we have to really hit the road, running or driving. Do we have too many taxis? Let's start with Kingston. Too many taxis on the road, do we?
You see, that is one of our problems. That is one of my problems, in the sense that I am saying the government must do a survey
Yes.
of the transportation needs
Right.
in each little crevice of Jamaica. Whether it's Kingston, Spanish Town, Montego Bay, Gilmer Bay, wherever.
Yeah.
You need to do a proper survey of how many people want to go from Gilmer Bay to Lionel.
To wait a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I don't know if wait a bit is in clarity.
But we need to do a survey, and that survey is not done.
Right.
And I challenge the Transport Authority to say, well, show me the evidence of that. So when you ask if there is too much taxes,
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think there's too much because they're on the road, and if they're there on the road, there's a demand for them. If there was no demand, then they would.
It is felt that everybody sees taxi business as the new fish fry.
Yeah.
So somebody get a little redundancy money, Mr. Newman. The first thing you want is to put it into a
Yeah.
taxi. And so it would appear, and I'm saying appear, that we have more taxis than, as people would say, cars
Yes.
on the road. If you were to do a layman's study,
Yeah.
count taxis passing in, let us say, half a tree. And for those listeners who are out of town and listen on the internet, we're not saying half a tree is the Jamaica, but we're just saying you probably could say with reasonableness, out of every 10, maybe you have 5 to 6 cars are taxis.
Probably so.
So where do we go from here with that?
Let me tell you, and I want to be straightforward. In the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region, I believe that we have too many taxis on the road, coupled with white plate.
No, but I wasn't going there yet.
As a matter of fact, I think, and I used to think that way, and I still think that way, that if you take away all the white plates, quite likely the red plates will be enough.
If we took that
If
away.
you take away the white,
Yes.
the red will be enough. But you have everybody juggling. They get a money. They buy a car.
Yes.
The cousin from overseas sends a few dollars, they buy a car. And they're not ready for the red plate yet, so then they run it white. So to every one red plate,
Yes.
you have 2 white.
Yes.
And that is what is causing the mayhem
All right.
in the KMTR.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back from the break, I want you, Mr. Barton, to answer a question for me, and I'm going to give you some time to think it through. What are the barriers for entering the taxi business? In other words, what does JR Small need to do to become a taxi operator? We're going to take a very short break right here on Roots of the Matter 96.1. When we come back on the other side, we're going to be talking some more about the whole matter of road safety. We're just building up, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll soon give you a chance to participate in our conversation. But we want you to stay tuned right here to Roots 96. We'll be right back on the other side.
Yes, in that one place nice. How would that knock down my door, Jesus? No, sir. So don't have to push me. Go on, look at nice. Me like your house.
Yeah, last year we get it from Roots FM Bazaar.
And what you not saying?
Yeah, you know, say to keep November 1st again.
Allah, you tell.
Yes, goody, cheap things out there ready to sale.
You know, say, me not no money, you know. Me can't go make
No worry
it,
yourself,
man.
man. Must see that Roots FM come together at the bazaar November 1st, and the things them cheap start from $200.
Allah, you tell.
$200.
$200?
Yes, I remember. So we're gonna get all the partner dry and say, you know, so we're gonna donate.
Yes, we have to done it.
That's right.
Yes. Me not let none for Christmas not come. I go beg my husband and find some money so me I done this apart now.
Yeah, look, you say your husband and friend. So remember, November 1st, Roots FM and Mustard Seed Bazaar will be happening at One Maho Drive. Clothing, household items, and many more.
From 10 a.m. till you say when.
Come shop till you drop.
Roots FM, Roots FM, Roots FM! Roots FM present their first annual retro party, Flashback Reggae Meets Soul, Friday, December 6, 2019, at Purpose Place, South Avenue, Kingston 5.
New style, and style can't spoil.
Music Party, Roots FM, Roots Jump, Music Film, Bailey Paul, DJ Party, DJ Vaughn, Isotron, Tennessee, DJ Darren, and many more. Admission, $1,000 pre-sold, and 12 is at the gate. Remember, after work, after jump, come and party with us.
You're listening to Roots of the Matter with J.R. Small on Roots 96.1 FM.
Welcome back, listeners. You're listening to Roots of the Matter, as you just heard, and we're speaking with Mr. Edgerton Newman as well as Mr. Louis Barton, and we're talking about road safety specifically as it relates to taxi operators and, of course, motorists as well. Now, we're just talking about the whole matter of getting into the taxi business. We call it entry level. Now, Mr. Barton, what is required to become a taxi operator? Tell me, what is, if I want to become, I have a money, I want to buy 2 taxis. What do I need to do?
First of all, need to buy the car.
Not the taxi,
Yeah,
car.
yeah.
Correct.
You go to the Transport Authority, make an application. If you want to run in the KMTR, you're going to apply for either a Hackney carriage
Yes.
or a contract carriage license. They will send you to do the regular inspections, pay your fee, and they will approve your application. Right now, at this moment, they're not giving out any Hackney carriage license.
Yes.
So there's a restriction on that. right?
Stop for a moment, Mr. Barton. I have to cut you.
Mm.
In all of that, I don't hear you say them give me the psychometric test.
Thank you
In
for
all of
saying
that,
that. As a matter of
I
fact.
don't hear you say to me that them don't check if I am a deportee who used to drive and a madman up in the States.
All right, there is that. You have to get a badge.
Yes.
You as a driver, because the owner doesn't have to get that. The driver have to have a badge. Where to get the badge, you have to have a clean police record.
Yes.
And that's basically it. There's no psychometric test.
Nothing.
There's nothing like that. As
Yes.
long as you have a clean a clean police record
Yes.
and a like I was gonna say a genuine PPV license. We're just gonna say I'll drive a
Yes.
PPV license.
Yes.
But and I'm saying genuine as opposed to PPV license because some of the PPV license are not genuine.
And that
Right.
is also a factor.
Yeah, because right now, for anybody can go to the traffic department and buy a license.
No, be
That's
careful.
a standard
Be
practice. in
careful, be
Jamaica.
careful, be
Mm.
careful. No, we have people like Hopi Bailey online and Althea Green Thomas and Owen Brown as well. And we welcome you for joining us. You're telling these people and other listeners that it is as easy as that.
We know the corruption, one of the problems in the transport sector is that there is rife corruption all over. And that's what causing some of the problems for the safety issue. Because I, as an 18-year-old,
Yes.
could go and buy a license wherever the distribute license.
Yeah.
And the rule is within 3 years or 5 years, you can go and upgrade the license to a PPV license. Right? So at 23 years old, you can be driving or 21, you can be driving a car, you have no carrying passengers,
Yes.
but you have no idea of how to treat the passengers. There's no test to say, well, be courteous,
Right.
what to do in emergencies.
Right.
All of that is
Right.
it is not emphasized.
You have never driven a car with a load in it, so the car shifts to the speed.
Yeah.
You've never driven down a hill with load versus empty.
There is none
No,
of that.
nothing.
What we are trying to do now is to institute training for those things. Just like how you asked about a psycho test.
Yes.
That is necessary. We saw a video the other day of a person driving on the sidewalk with an accident or not. I don't know how he got on the sidewalk,
Yes.
but he hit down 2 people
Right.
and then he ran away. In Jamaica, security thing now, it's probably safe for his person to run away, right?
yes.
But that is what people do nowadays. The driver doesn't stop to take care of any accident,
Yes.
any problem that might arise.
Right.
They run away because they're not trained to do anything
else.
Right?
Let me show you something, Mr. Newman. Now, you made some very good points, but as part of your association responsibility, are you making recommendations? I'm certain you don't just advocate for benefits for your operators. Are you making recommendations to the government to say, hey, Mr. Government, what we are going to recommend to ensure the safety of passengers is that you have a training institution and certification for drivers?
Absolutely. That's one of our major activity. We will make recommendation to government. As you rightly said, not just for fare increase.
Right.
We need it badly, and we concur today that the fare increase is important, but guess what is more important now? Training and development.
Yes.
So we're gonna put fare increase aside right now and focus on what we think can get the paradigm shift in the public transport sector. So what the transport authority is doing now, and Mr. Barn alluded to the whole issue of how you get a license. We want to move from 1 day training to get a badge to at least a 72-hour training before you go on a steering wheel to drive a taxi. At least a 72 hours.
Yes.
And when we made a recommendation to government, I haven't gotten a response yet. But as well as I'm saying, we appoint somebody to speak on our behalf to government. So upon Reverend Al Miller, that he will now
Yes.
go and knock on the Prime Minister door and say, listen, these guys make a recommendation. And we need to have it too.
The whole matter of drug testing for operators, and I'm not talking it like it is. You know, we are Jamaicans, and every corner you pass and it's a taxi stand, the man have a buckle and a big head split for the man. We're not going around the corner.
Right.
And then them jump into the cab and them jump into the bus too.
Yeah.
I have seen buses driving with the driver of a Guinness bottle, and they're not giving Guinness no free props here now in a man. But are these things that you are advocating should be done, whether it's random, whether it's structured?
Yeah.
I took a taxi just last week, Mr. Barton, the week before last, and from Halfway Tree, and this guy, someone was in the back and I in front, and the guy was puffing his cliff.
Whilst
I said,
you're
hold
in
on,
the taxi,
stop the car. So the man, he threw it away.
he'll never know you.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
The fact is, it is happening right now. What is more serious is that you go into the transport centers the bus coming from Montego Bay or from Mandeville, the driver parked the bus, the loader man is doing his job, but he gone one time to burn a spliff with
And drink a half Q.
half Q with a boom.
Right.
No, that is more dangerous than he was smoking it inside the vehicle.
Right.
Because he relaxed here, smoking.
Right.
When he rise from his seat to go in around that steering wheel,
Yes.
everything changed. I worked for many years in National Council on Drug Abuse. I know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Relax and drinking, when you move from that relaxation
Yes.
to go on the football field, that is more dangerous than smoking.
You mentioned relax and another aspect of it which we don't pay a lot of attention to. When I was a little boy, them have two type of man. Them have one called cabbie and one is a taxi operator. Them say cabbie sleeping in a car, right? I used to hear that. Right? The whole matter of fatigue. There are some taxi operators, and I don't want to say it's economics alone, but maybe the driver, the owner man demand a certain amount of money per day and him can't make it into the traffic. So him tend to stretch himself for 24 to 48 hours trying to make it. Is there anything that can be done to try and control stuff like that? I mean, do you have stops and checks and any recommendations for any of these kinds of?
One of the things that we are trying to do as an association, let me back up, because as far as the organization of the entire transport sector in Jamaica is concerned, we have associations, route taxi associations, that mostly transport people in the rural areas. So you have routes in the rural area, Mandeville to Maypen, you know.
Yes, yes.
But in the KMTR is
different.
Is the Hackney carriage
Right,
where you run
right.
everywhere. Now, those in the rural areas, they are organized into associations. But to tell the truth, I'm going to say this, I don't think that the associations, the rural areas, are doing enough to organize those guys on the route, to telling them what to do, how to behave, and for training, and you know, I just don't see that.
Yes.
It probably exists, but I don't see it. It is like spoken, but different from here in the KMTR, where they are not required to be part of any association. So they are doing anything. Now, my association is trying to get more members especially owners, to start to monitor and manage their taxes. Just like how you ask if there is how do you get a license to be a taxi person? You can buy a car and give somebody to drive. Right, that person, as long as that person give you your $10,000 a day, you don't care about it. So we are saying, no, stop that. You have to start managing your operators.
Listeners, if you're just joining us, you're listening to Roots 96.1 FM. Your program is called Roots of the Matter, and tonight we're speaking with Mr. Edgerton Newman, President of the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services. Sounds like a long, big title, and it actually is very important. As well as Mr. Louis Barton, the President of the Jamaica Association of Transport Owners and Operators. We're going to be giving you a chance to contribute something to our conversation if you so desire. And of course, our number to call is 372-8446, and you can pose a question or two to either of these gentlemen, or if you want to share an experience or make a recommendation as to how we can ensure the safety of our road users, especially those who use the public transportation system, feel free to do so. That's 372-8446. And we have a bonus tonight. I'm giving away some digital credit for those persons who are desirous of getting one if you do put a call through to us. Now, gentlemen, there is another matter that is of concern to me: speeding by these taxi operators. We know that speeding is said to be the leading cause of accidents, road accidents generally. Now, I see speeding daily, and I'm not even going to make you talk about the speeding, but do you think we're getting enough done by the police in terms of enforcement?
No. I don't see the police. They're not doing enough, but I don't think they have the personnel, the amount of people, the capacity to really do policing, especially in the transport.
Even with the new PS, the alphabet department. I hear we have a call online. Let's take this one and we'll come right back to that. Good night. Welcome to Roots of the Matter.
Good night, Mr. J.R.
Latoya! What on?
I'm here.
Long time in a year from you, man. You're there foreign.
No, I'm not gone yet.
You mean
Saturday
yet?
gonna be my birthday.
When is your birthday?
Saturday gonna be my birthday.
Oh my
Saturday.
goodness,
You
boy.
know I have to get a double, you know?
Yeah, oh, Lataya. We're talking about road safety tonight. Oh, what you have to say about it?
Yes, the road safety. Some of these drivers are very hostile.
Yeah,
And the other day, when a little girl going to school, so she take the taxi. And she
yes.
said she was coming out at her stop and asked, and I saw the driver. She said she come out with no driver off the car. She drop out there, bruise up the whole eye, her foot and her uniform dirty.
You're talking about a
And the
taxi?
people, and sure that the process is easy, them just at what them like.
You mean the little girl fall out of the taxi?
Yeah, because she drive off the whole her bruise up and me and say, clean her up.
So him stop and pick her up?
No, she in the taxi, she take it to school.
Mm.
So at her stop, in stop. But
Yes.
in those that she come out, one
Oh,
foot
I get what you're
out
saying.
and
Lord.
one foot in.
So you
And
them
the
catch him
driver
license plate
for
number?
leave her. The little girl never touch it. And driver for leave her.
Oh
For
my
the ground.
goodness gracious.
So is it through the process easy like 1, 2, 3? Then
Yeah.
just do as them like. Them need training. And you take them taxi and pay dirty mad or them cut them and say, don't drive hard. And then kind of them a cuss.
Yes, yes,
Some of
yes.
them have no manners. And downtown have the biggest taxi. Traffic, yeah. Downtown, more
Yeah.
stuff in the downtown and Apple Tree. When nothing not going downtown, them fly at Apple Tree. When nothing not going at Apple Tree, them fly downtown.
So we said them not regulate, them got anywhere they want, go anytime.
Anywhere, and then drive anytime and speed up anything cause to them cars.
Yes, yes. So
So, you know, like, we have
Lataya, we
customers
want to get to the root of the matter. What do you think we can do about it, Lataya, to fix it? Because we want to try and get some solution now. We know them drive. Listen, let me tell you something, Lataya. For Hagley Park Road outside here, sir. Me going up Hagley, going down Hagley, coming down and car come up on my side of the dual carriageway.
Yes,
You understand me?
Them park up anywhere.
If you go through Walton Park with Hagley Park, stop. The park on the left hand side and you have to cut over every day.
And them a come round for you.
Me want one taxi man.
business.
Me want a taxi man out there who will hear me for call me and talk to me now. Because me don't like know why them feel that them don't feel them obstructing traffic. And why them don't feel so when them go against the one way is dangerous driving.
Yes, and them capture the road for themselves because they are looking customer and how much money they all about for the money. How much money them can make for the day.
But Lataya, suppose you're a man that drive taxi now. You don't want to come with $1,000.
No.
So when him come home with $1,000 and you say to him you say what you say now, bae or babes. And this will come home with him and say, boy, traffic the whole me have to drive on the left hand side.
No, but that's a problem still enough. Because you know money may have to use the money.
Yeah.
But you have to conscious. In case you are too hot. You have to know what is right and what is wrong.
Yes.
Because life are out there.
At the end of the
So
day
that
though,
needs some teaching.
at the end of the day we can't jeopardize nobody's safety though, you know?
No, that is the point.
Yes. All right, Lataya. We always welcome your views because I like your objectivity, you know. I tell the truth. Every time you know call me miss you, you know.
What you hear me up?
Me hear that man. It look like you never had listen, man. Me hear up every night. Everybody know you know. All are foreign.
Serious?
Yeah, they never tell me, man. They say if you tell you hello when them talk to me.
Oh, thank you.
All right, listen. If I don't hear back from you, enjoy your birthday. Your credit coming up shortly here.
I don't like to put together.
Oh yeah, I'll give you one for your birthday, baby.
Oh, thank you, Abby.
All right, that's all. Take care.
Let me just address what you said, because what you asked about if there is enough police,
Yes.
there is not enough police. But we should be trained. There's supposed to be a psychology within the sector
Yes.
to say that you must have respect for people, and that is what should be reinforced in every taximan that
Yes.
decide to drive a car. But that reinforcement comes through our organization.
Oh.
And I say that we are the only one who can do it,
Right.
but there must be a systematic way to say this organization will keep you on the right track.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything, then
Mr.
end
Newman,
up like that.
how do you feel when you drive through Half a Tree and you see taxis in the middle of the road with the door open, the man standing on the running board and shouting Mountain View, and on the other corner, I don't know the south and the north, but going down Half a Tree Road, you have three at the P-step police officers standing with them smartphone in their hand.
Exactly.
Have you ever seen that?
A daily occurrence.
Every single day. There's a day that, and you see the problem is, and Mr. Bartlett sometimes call it regulatory indiscipline. Because those who regulate the sector, they regulate in a way where it allow indiscipline to increase.
Regulated disorder.
Disorder, right.
Regulated disorder. I like
Now,
that.
in Half a Tree, there is nowhere for the 4,000 or 5,000 taxi operators to stop and load. So they're coming down Hope Road. They have to wait until the light gone red to let out the passenger. Now I'm hustling.
Yes,
So when I let out one, I want to take in one,
correct.
and the 3P step man is down by the light.
Right.
Now, if that one of two things: one, they let them, people don't mind on their phone,
Yes.
or they come over and give me a ticket. Now, they will choose which one they do.
Right.
In most cases, get a ticket, and that is why some taxi man have
Hundreds of tickets because they get them daily.
Yeah.
Why you got those tickets? I said before, because there's no facilities for them. By law, they are saying there should be no facilities for them to park. What's her name?
Latoya.
Latoya spoke to a number of taximen downtown. But when things bad downtown, they come up Half a Tree.
Yes.
Facts, because the license say they can operate in 3 parishes.
Okay.
So there is no rule for them to operate just in the downtown area, just in the Half a Tree, or just in the conference.
You're saying the regulations need to be revised.
You have to do that.
But and the regulation need to revise, but also they need to take a proper survey, as I said at the beginning.
Yes.
Of what are the transportation needs in the KMTR?
Yes.
Because I think it was last year or some time ago when they ordered some new JOTC buses because they
Yes.
were bringing JOTC, and they said that they needed 420 buses to serve the entire KMTR. They got the 420, but right now there are 318 or something like that. Because of breakdown and overdose. But there's a gap there. They're not able to supply the amount of seats that is necessary.
Which is where the taxes would come in.
That is where the taxes come in. And because the taxes know that there's passengers out there to eat a food.
Yes.
Right? So they do all kind of crazy things because they're under no regulation.
I have one for you, gentlemen, and this is I'm not going to say the devil's advocate, but could it be said that part of the road congestion that we're having is because of the amount of taxes that we have on the road?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then that's the same situation that make people say we have to break the law to earn our food. So is it an economic reason that's causing it, or is bad planning by the urban planners?
I think it's bad planning for one, but there's an economic reason to it. The economic reason is the demand and supply not in sync.
Right.
So that causes people to do almost anything. But it's bad planning. But the other thing too is called the psychological, the social makeup of Jamaica,
Yes.
where all of us do whatever we feel like doing. I don't care about you. I tell you, give it a finger, do whatever you want to do.
I put one to you. And listeners, if you're just joining us, you can participate in our conversation by calling 372-8446. That's 372-8446 to put your 2 cents to this conversation. I have one for you. The roadworks were going on in Kingston, and we're talking Kingston now specifically. We were working on 3 corridors: the Mandela, the Hagley Park Road, and Constant Spring Road, all at once. It would appear to me that we have now a new culture of driving where when these roadworks were taking place, and I'm not hitting at the roadworks, people.
Yeah.
We want good road, we want
Yeah.
we welcome the road development. But the signage and directions and signage were poor.
Yeah.
During the 1.5 to 2 years that the constructions were taking place, people did just about anything. Drive on the right side today, then tomorrow the left side.
Yes,
We turn at the intersection, that's a no turn, and there was really no law. Have we developed a new breed, a culture? We culture and this is not taxi, we say motorists. Have we now cultured? Have we cultured the motorists different now?
Absolutely not. I don't think it is a difference. You see, we have a social problem in this country. Everybody wants to reach half a tree, taking any route necessary, doing anything necessary.
Yes.
Let me tell you, we must first blame government in this matter in terms of road development. They gave you a contract to build a road, but not specifying in my big book the various things you need to do. We overlook signage, especially Harley Park Road, right? And because we are focused on getting the piece of thoroughfare finished within a particular time, we overlook the safety of commuters and motorists. Motorists take advantage of the no sign and drive anyway, and that's why you coming down Hagley Park Road, somebody's coming up right beside you.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. Listen, I put myself in trouble when I said the Boston Consensus right, I turned through that walkway.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was wrong. I put myself in trouble because I said
You need to
if there was
turn
a
back.
sign there,
Yeah.
he would not have turned on that.
Correct.
If there was one of those, what do you call it, cones in the road, he would have turned there, but there was no signage.
there.
And Jamaica is to blame for lack of signage across the
Country. Before you go, we have a call online who I think wants to ask a question. Good night, Roots of the Matter.
Hello, good night again, and me.
Oh, hi, Lataya.
I'm a Christian, you know.
Yes.
The other day when the road was 16, as the man said, poor, like something we will get to it.
Poor sign, poor road sign.
People them could not find their way because not everybody know the direction to where to detour to,
Yes.
and then not everybody can read. Some people is driving but cannot read. And
They want on Lataya, they should not drive.
I want the links to the thing, you know.
No, whoa. But Lataya, you can't come and read and say that. What do you mean some people are drive and can't read?
And everybody can read and know the road.
So what you want, hold on then on.
This time we have to take left or to take right.
But me gonna tell you something, Lataya. Road sign even change now. When me was a little boy, you have to can read. For know that now they have symbol. You have a finger point, so you have a hand that says stop. So me don't know what you say.
You don't know me, so well, here with me, so no. Some people, they're growing, right? And everybody don't really remember. You understand?
Yes.
Where the arrow is for and the signs them is for.
Yes.
So some people have to stop and ask people where they let them to turn. Because me out there, I tell people where to turn. To reach the 3 mile, where for God is one, all them stuff there.
So what me I say now, that little period make some bad driver develop. Because you couldn't do anything during that period and get away. Because police wasn't going to stop you them time if you go down a one way or if you spin round at a spot where you're not supposed to spin round.
No, because everybody wants to reach home.
Right.
And everybody try to reach home at the same time.
But no, I'm saying that the road work done kind of finished now, not really complete. But people doing the same thing still.
Yeah, when rain falls.
Jesus Christ. That you have to come represent me, you know. We need you. You're very good. All right.
When rain falls.
Thank you for that, Lataya. I appreciate that here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right.
But that's a serious thing, you know, because what we get used to over the 2-3 years,
Right.
is driving wherever you want.
Anywhere,
And it
anytime.
happened to me. I'm
Yes.
telling you. I drive in on Constant Spring Road because that's in my road. And where that bus turn, I turned there once because I didn't know where not to turn.
Right.
And now that the Constant Spring Road has coming back to normal,
Yes.
is a change in a mindset
Right.
that you have to
do,
with.
right.
But we have to get there.
Right.
And how we get there is I guess the traffic management and the police force who guys say, well, do this. And I'll tell you just one story that over my 6 years of experience,
Yes.
I've never seen road construction done without proper signage. Very important.
Yes.
In all construction that I've known from, I don't know high school call it.
Yes.
You say construction going on, keep left, detour
Yes.
here,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
There's nothing here.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I see a sign that was in Chinese.
All right. Well, maybe
I don't know
that's.
what to say.
Yeah, yeah. Though they never saw that one, right? You captured it on one of your phones. But you know, Mr. Barton, I want to go further because it's not just doing the road construction. I think when we look at the bad driving and the road safety issues, it's not fair to blame motorists only. Because I will tell you that on the Dunby Holden Road at nights behind Caribbean Estates, if you are coming and you don't know the road, you know how many cars I pass and see hitch up into that median there?
Yes.
Because it's not reflectorized.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no warning sign to tell you that you're coming. And when you're coming up Spur Tree Hill at night too, if you have a car that the light is not absolute, there's a piece of median in the road as well. That just comes out of nowhere
Yes,
on you.
yes. At the end, at the top of the
At the top of the incline. And so part of what we need to look at, and maybe your organization can also look at. You see, it's one thing in my view, and I know I'm taking away the thing from you now. It's not just about the driving habits. It's about how you as the road developers or the managers of the roads, how you help the motorists to drive safely.
Right.
But I want to come back to our matter of road safety, and we spoke to traffic enforcement, and I really want to go back to that one because a lot of things I'm seeing, I see some vehicles operating as taxis that really I wouldn't grow for, you know. I see on the road, I don't know what the standards are. Are there standards of public transportation in terms of the aesthetics?
Yeah.
How the vehicle
You have
look?
to be fit and proper. Your vehicle
Yes.
must be fit and proper, right?
Yes.
Every 6 months or every year, they put a particular check, right?
Yes.
And they have to do it, but you know, as you say, some corruption in everything. So the paper is fit, but the car is not fit because the paper go and leave the car behind.
Yes.
And so some of these vehicles need to be put
But
out.
to get to the root of the matter then, Mr. Newman, what do you see as the solution or the beginning of the solution to
To
this
be very
problem?
honest with you, I think the government they are trying to make some changes to not only the Road Traffic Act that we are waited but to be released, but also recently the minister in a 15-point plan of action look at how certain things will change at the transport authority, not only at the transport authority, but the island traffic authority, combine them both and look at certain things where at the depots that certain things will change. So your vehicle must go into the depot for it to be checked.
Examined, right.
To be examined. So things are coming, they are slow.
Yes.
Very, very slow, but we are hoping that before long, things will be on the table so we can work along with them. But for now, discipline, let me tell you, as we speak, 347 fatal crashes
Right.
on our roads.
That's for today this
As
year.
we speak tonight,
So we're past the average of 2014 already.
so 347. It is out. It's like a runaway train.
Right.
Now, don't ask me how much is committed by taxi and bus man. Very few. So when we talk about safety, it's not just taxi and bus operator, it's motorists as a whole.
Yes.
I said to the government recently, that listen, that elegant corridor in Montego Bay,
Yes.
there were a lot of crashes. Grip the corridor. Every several meters, put a grit,
Yes.
so you can slow down the traffic. They don't do it, and so every time you have another accident, most of these thoroughfares need to be grit. So when you're going up there on the new highway, they build
Yes.
it's not a grit.
Right, right.
Put them on the low.
Oh, that's what it's for. That's what it's actually there for.
Yes, so
Right,
just
yeah.
slow the movement of the vehicle. And because it make a sound on the tire.
Right.
So even if you're sleeping, it wakes you up.
It wakes you up, actually does that.
So that is important. You talk about the Spur Tree Hill.
Yes.
That piece of meat, something needs to be done to it.
Yes.
Because vehicles run straight.
Daily.
I
Weekly.
know what don't be holding.
Yes.
That's where I spend most of my time. And that again is another one, right at Caribbean Estate. We need to get some international help to look at our thoroughfares.
You know, Mr. Newman, we're going to go for a break now. But I would be happy if I wake up one morning and see taxi operators protesting because of bad road signage. We're going to take a break and come right back to our final segment in Roots of the Matter. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We are on our final break before we wrap up on this very interesting topic of road safety tonight.
Yes, in our place nice. Oh, that knock down my door, Jesus. Money. No, sir. So do not push me. Go look nice. Me like your house.
Yeah, last year I get it from Roots FM Bazaar.
And we not saying.
Yeah, you know, say to keep November 1st again.
I lie you tell.
Yes, goody, cheap things out there ready for sale.
Goody, you know, say me can't. Me not no money now. Me can't go make
No
it.
worries,
now,
self,
yeah.
man. Must see that Roots FM come together have the bazaar November 1st and the things them cheap start from $200.
I lie you tell.
$200.
$200.
Yes, I remember. So we're gonna get all the partner join us. You know, so we're gonna donate.
Yes, we have done it.
That's right.
Yes. Me not let none for Christmas not come. I go beg my husband and find some money so me have done this a partner. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, look, you say your husband and family. So remember, November 1st, Roots FM and Mustard Seed Bazaar will be happening at One Maho Drive. Clothing, household items, and many more.
From 10 a.m. till you say when.
Come shop till you drop. Yeah.
You're listening to Roots of the Matter with J.R. Small on Roots 96.1 FM.
Welcome back, listeners. We're into our final segment on Roots of the Matter tonight, and we're speaking once more with Mr. Edgerton Newman and Mr. Louis Barton. As you know, they're probably the two most popular names in the transportation sector in Jamaica. And we're looking at just how we can look at addressing this whole matter of the current road safety issues or lack thereof in the transportation sector. When we took the break, we're talking about road signage, and I was just saying to both gentlemen that, you know, it's one thing to blame the drivers, but it's another thing to look at where our authorities are falling short in terms of ensuring that the surfaces are in good condition. We were speaking off air about the elegant corridor, and of course in Kingston, the Dundee Hole, and there's another one where frequent collisions take place. Don't you think that these are places that statistics should be there to guide the government or the authorities in
And let me tell you, if there's a fatal crash in certain areas, the government will pay no mind. You have to have somebody die on a part like down the hole. Yes, have several mishaps there. But the fact is, I bet you tomorrow morning somebody life is taken there.
Somebody important.
Yes, they say they're gonna go and fix somebody important. They're gonna fix it.
Yes.
Now we must forget about the whole issue of if something happened, like with the youngster who died at the school.
Yes.
The government said don't put no service.
Garbage truck on compounds again.
But he didn't even say, he said garbage truck, yes, but at first he said service vehicles. A service vehicle is not just a garbage truck. But it can be some other vehicle.
A delivery truck.
A delivery truck, something.
Yes.
So we are knee-jerk, generation.
Yes.
Right? You hit me, I find something to say. But we don't plan for tomorrow.
Right. But Mr. Barton, does your organization lobby the government for these changes? I mean, we hear about the taxi fare. We hear about that. I don't hear you say we want to strip PPV drivers who drive and hang them torso through the window.
You see, one of the things is that the media,
Yes.
and I don't know if you're a part of the formal media.
No, I'm not. No, we're upset.
But the media carries what makes money.
Yes.
That is how we look at it. We have been calling for all of these things that they consider minor things, and they don't promote it. They don't tell people that we're asking to. For our organization, both TADS and Jatu, we are the people who want to increase bus fare and taxi fare. But that is not so.
Yes.
We want better service for our passengers.
Yes.
Right? My logic, and I'm talking about TADS at this time, but my logic, if you want something good, you have to pay for it. Right? But we can adjust the fare, whether you can reduce something from the transport authority costs or you increase your fare.
Right.
But there's a compromise that we have to look at. But those things are not carried. just like how they don't care about the road safety. Mr. Newman have a very good road safety, ongoing road safety program, but I've never heard any of the traditional media mention it once. I think it's every month you have it, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, you can come here to Roots, you know. You're welcome to approach Roots. We carry it. Dudley is more than willing to take this up.
we probably not take you up on it because there are certain concerns that we have. Road safety is a concern.
It's everybody's.
Emphasized by Mr. Newman,
Yes,
but
yes.
the condition of the road surface, how people access the road,
Yes.
both passengers, commuters, everybody, how we operate on the road.
Yes.
It's not just taxi operation, it's everybody. But as I say, it's only certain things that can be highlighted
Yes.
that get the airplay.
You see, a fatal crash or accident is not caused by one thing. It's several things that cause an accident. Right? It could be the man drinking and driving.
Yes.
It could be the poor road surface. It could be the lighting condition.
Right.
It could be overgrown trees.
Right.
Everything come together causes it's multi.
Yes.
Right? And so what we do, we look at just the fast driving. Or we look at the things that we can see,
You're right.
but we need to address the environmental
In a holistic way.
holistic way, and we're
Yes.
not doing that. Let me tell you, every month we have at least 4 or 5 activities.
Yes.
Every third Sunday of the month we go into a major church within a parish, right? This month we're going, well, not this month yet. We're going to Montego Bay. We should be there last month. We're going to go in November.
Is that effective, though, Mr. Newman?
It is effective to the extent we went going to the parish, we speak to the mayor.
Yes.
And we speak to the ministers, we speak to the councillors, we award them for what they're doing already.
Yes.
Fire department, we talk to everybody, bring everybody
Yes.
together under one roof. So it is effective, but I tell you, the government, central government, needs to do their part.
Right.
And they're not doing their part in terms of safety. We have a small team, a small unit called the Road Safety Unit, and one called the Road Safety Council. They are doing the same thing over again and expect different results.
We have just 2.5 minutes left on our program. Let me ask you, Mr. Wan, and then you, Mr. Newman, in 1 minute. What would your suggestions be to kind of capture this thing, cauterize the incidents of crashes and the indiscipline on the road? Let me hear you kind of put it in one capsule.
Let me just answer something about you're saying whether it is effective or not.
Yes.
So Newman is at least effective to those church members.
Yes. But the taxman in no church,
No.
not going there, going to listen to that
Probably
extent,
not.
going to
that-
change their practice.
But you see, who we have to get to are the passengers also.
Okay.
You know. If you can get the passengers to say, don't drive more than 30 miles
Okay,
an hour,
okay, I take your
then
point.
we'll get there. We have been to a church in our seminar. I mean, Jatu was invited to a church in Portmore, and they were happy to know the type of information that we're giving.
The divine intervention thing catching on, man.
yeah.
But Mr. Barton, I was in Lucy to buy people.
Remember, we have 2 minutes.
Yes,
to-
and quickly in a second. And in that church, we have only a few taximen. So I said, Pastor, I mean, the taximen are not coming out. I said, Mr. Newman, we have several owners inside here.
Okay, I get
You
you.
get me? So within the family, there's
Yes.
a taximan or
Yes.
taximan, but more so owners who are listening in the quiet, and not saying nothing,
Right.
because they have those taxi up there and just get a man, hey, snake give me car, and you
Right.
need 4,000
4,000 a day.
or 5,000,
Yeah.
10,000 a day, and they don't care one bit. Evening come, they push to the grill, they hand to the grill and
And
collect the
gone
money.
again.
That's it.
Right.
That's what is causing the mayhem and all
Yeah.
that.
All right. So in the well, you know, to 30 seconds now. Let me hear what
My
your-
thing
yeah.
right now,
Yes.
Jatu is on a program to tell the owners that they must be more responsible.
Yes.
They must start to manage their business, their little car business or
Yes.
bus business.
Yes.
And we're going to the government. We have gone to the government to say everybody who owns a car and have a license must be part of an association.
Yes.
That is where we capture that management.
Okay, Mr. Newman.
Come next year, we
Yes.
want to see a national training program in place. Nobody should renew the license unless they go through a period of training.
Yes.
And I'm talking about training to drive.
Right.
Training, personal development, customer service, and the works. That must be done.
Well, as we were saying off air earlier, when you're going to apply for a Juta driver carrying license, you have to go through a training certification period. Why shouldn't we, as regular members of society, get the kind of treatment that the tourists and the foreigners get via our taxes?
We are now calling for the government to allow the local operators and the Jute operators to have the same level of training. Most because we're carrying people.
Just the same.
Not because you're carrying people from overseas,
Yes.
but in Jamaica you also have visitors.
Yes.
We call them tourists. And about the Ocho-Race, I'm a tourist in Ocho-Race.
I'm getting the wrap-up signal, gentlemen. I can't thank you both enough. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a real fulsome discussion with Mr. Edgerton Newman, and as I told you earlier, if you join us at the top, he is the president of the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, and it sounds like that, Mr. Newman. I understand it now. Development, and I like these big words, sustainable services. It means that we want to maintain good quality service and development at the same time, as well as Mr. Louis Barton, the president of the Jamaica Association of Transport Owners and Operators. Mr. Barton, your task is a mammoth one. I tell you, don't give up the fight, you know. Yeah, we are here to support you in whatever way we can, and you heard Dudley pledge a while ago that he is ready and willing to give you some airtime as it relates to getting your message out there. We want to thank you for having joined us again on Roots of the Matter. As I say every week, it's the shortest hour on radio. We always enjoy bringing these kinds of conversations to you, and we hope that you'll keep the conversations going, that in your little corner, you will invite discussions around keeping the road safe, you know. It may not be you today, but you never know what it could be tomorrow. So we want to encourage all of you out there who are listening, if you know somebody who drives a public transportation, takes a public transportation, that you would encourage them to use the road safely. And we wanted to support these lobby groups who have Jamaicans and, of course, on a whole, everybody's interest at heart. Once again, we want to thank Dudley Thompson for being the man behind the controls.